Hi guys, this is IGCSE O-Level Chemistry, Paper 22, Extended MCQs, March 2022, Question 21. Zinc oxide is an amphoteric oxide. Okay, amphoteric means that it would react with acid as well as bases. Which type of substance will react with zinc oxide? Acids and bases? Yes. Acids only? No. Bases will also react with it. So bases only, no. Acids will also react with it. Neither acids nor bases, no. Both of them will react with it. Therefore, option A is the correct option for this question. Question 22. Information about some silver compounds is shown. Silver carbonate is an insoluble salt. Silver chloride is also insoluble. Silver nitrate is soluble and silver oxide is again insoluble. Okay. Which equation shows a reaction which cannot be used to make a silver salt? So we have silver nitrate reacting with HCl producing silver chloride and nitric acid. So this is a reaction of a soluble salt with acid to make an insoluble salt. This reaction is correct and will happen. Next is an insoluble salt reacting with an acid to form a soluble salt. This is also a correct way of forming a soluble salt by reacting an insoluble salt with an acid. Next is an insoluble salt with an acid forming a soluble salt. Again, this is correct. This reaction will happen. And the last one is silver metal reacting with HCl producing silver chloride and hydrogen gas. Now, silver is less reactive than hydrogen. It cannot displace hydrogen and replace it in along with the chloride ion. So this reaction will not occur. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 23. Aqueous ethanoic acid is a weak acid. Aqueous sodium hydroxide is a strong base. Aqueous ethanoic acid is neutralized by aqueous sodium hydroxide. Which statements are correct? Aqueous ethanoic acid accepts protons from hydroxide ions? No. Acids are proton donors, not proton acceptors. Next, aqueous ethanoic acid used is fully dissociated into ions. No, it is a weak acid. Weak acids are partially dissociated into its ions. Next, the aqueous sodium hydroxide used is fully dissociated into its ions. Yes, it is a strong base, so it will be completely dissociated. And the reaction produces salt and water. Since it is a reaction between an acid and a base, the products would be a salt and water. Therefore, statements 3 and 4 being correct makes D the correct option for this question. Question 24. Three properties of element X are listed. It contains atoms with a full outer shell of electrons. It is monoatomic. It is unreactive. So it contains atoms with a full outer shell of electrons. Okay. So this should be an element that belongs to the noble gases. So group 8. In which part of the periodic table is the element placed? Since noble gases are monoatomic, they are unreactive and they've got a full outer electronic shell. This cannot be placed anywhere other than group 8. So options are group 1, no. Group 7, no. Group 8, yes. Transition elements, no. So option C is the correct option for this question. Question 25. Which word equation represents a reaction that occurs? Sodium oxide plus carbon gives sodium plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so the metal reactivity series is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, and then we have carbon before we have zinc and iron. And I'm not including the rest of the series because we need to understand whether sodium oxide would react with carbon or not. Since sodium is more reactive than carbon, carbon will not be able to displace sodium from its salt, so this reaction will not occur. Next, sodium oxide plus iron. Again, sodium is more reactive than iron, so this reaction will not occur. Next, iron 2 oxide plus copper. So if we'll have to continue with the series. After iron, we would have lead, then we would have hydrogen, then we would have copper, then we would have silver, and then we would have gold. So now it says iron 2 oxide plus copper. So copper is less reactive than iron. So copper will not be able to displace iron from its salt. So this reaction also will not happen. And the last one is iron 3 oxide plus carbon. Iron being less reactive than carbon, or carbon being more reactive than iron, will be able to displace iron from its salt, reducing iron 3 ions to iron metal and itself getting oxidized to carbon dioxide. So this reaction will occur, making option D the correct option for this question. Question 26. Which statement about the extraction of aluminum is correct? Aluminum is formed at the cathode during the electrolysis of aluminum oxide. Yes, this is what happens in extraction of aluminum. Hematite is mainly aluminum oxide. No, hematite is mainly Fe2O3. Aluminum oxide is called bauxite, the ore for aluminum. And hematite is Fe2O3. So this is incorrect. Molten cryolite is used to raise the melting point of aluminum oxide. No, it is used to decrease the melting point. Oxygen gains electrons at the anode during the electrolysis of aluminum oxide. Anode is where oxidation occurs. Oxidation is loss of electrons, not gain of electrons. So this statement is also incorrect. Therefore, A is the correct option for this question. Question 27. Metal M is mixed with copper to produce brass. What is M? So brass is an alloy made from copper and zinc. So the other element is not chromium, not nickel, not vanadium, and yes to zinc. Therefore, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 28. The table gives some properties of an element. The melting point is 3422, that is extremely high. Appearance of the element is gray. Appearance of the chloride of the element is dark blue, so it forms colored compounds. Density is 19.2, extremely high again. Electrical conductivity when solid is good, so it is a metal. Which other property does this element have? So it is a metal with very high melting points and densities. So this should be a transition element. So a transition element, the properties that it would have: acts as a catalyst, yes, because it has got variable oxidation states. Is brittle? No, it is a metal, so it is malleable. Forms an acidic oxide? No, it will either form a basic oxide, a neutral oxide, or an amphoteric oxide in the case of zinc. So no. Highly reactive with water? No. Transition elements are not highly reactive with water. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option A. Question 29. Ammonia is produced using the Haber's process. Which row shows the source of the raw materials and the reaction condition? So source of nitrogen would be air. So this would eliminate option B. Then source of hydrogen would be hydrocarbons, which is there in all the three remaining options. The temperature at which the reaction occurs is 450 to 500 degrees Celsius, eliminating option A. And finally, the pressure is 200 atmospheres, eliminating option D. Therefore, option C is the correct option for this question. Question 30. How many species are acting as bases in this reversible reaction? So in the forward reaction, HNO3 is the acid because it is a proton donor, and H2O is accepting the proton and forming H3O positive. So H2O is acting as a base in the forward reaction. In the backward reaction, H3O positive ion has the H positive ion, and NO3 negative ion accepts the H positive ion to form HNO3. So in the backward reaction, NO3 minus ion is acting as a base. So there are two bases in the reversible reaction, making option B the correct option for this question.